Back with Frankie, Corrado, and Bryan Hayes. Today we revealed names 30 through 21 on TSN's list of the top 50 NHL players. And guys, we're actually going to reveal number 20 as well. And here's why. At number 23 is Mitch Marner. At number 20, his Leafs teammate, William Nylander. Hayes, did we get this right on the list? Should Willie Nylander actually be ahead of Mitch Marner in the top 50?
Yes, I believe we got this right. I do think this is appropriate. We are splitting hairs here. It's 20 and 23. It's not like it's 1 and 50. But I do think when you look at what Nylander's done the last 2 years that Marner has not, is that he scores goals at an elite level. He's had 40 goals in back-to-back seasons. The most difficult thing to do in the sport, the most important thing to do in the sport. That's what William Nylander has above and beyond what Mitch Marner is going to bring, because Marner's not going to score, I don't think, at any point in his career at that level. There's also a couple of other details I think that stick out here that favor Nylander slightly. Nylander's deal is done. He's locked in. He doesn't have to worry about anything off the ice. And I know that didn't affect him last year. Maybe, if anything, it actually had a positive effect. But I think Willie's a pretty cool cat. I think he just keeps rolling and keeps putting up numbers. I'm not sure how Mitch Marner is going to handle the marketplace this year, how he's going to handle the contract negotiation. And one last thing, Frankie, is Nylander's going to start up the middle of the ice. I don't know if he projects to play all year, but if he does play up the middle of the ice and he puts up those numbers, it's simply a more important position and a bigger impact on his team.
All of those are fair points. I don't have William Nylander ahead of Mitch Marner. I have Marner ahead, but by the slightest of margins. William Nylander has definitely closed the gap on his Maple Leafs teammate. And the biggest reason why I would still have Mitch Marner ahead is this is a guy 2 years ago that had a third-place Selke vote. This is one of the best defensive wingers in the NHL. And if there were to be a winger who eventually wins the Selke, Mitch Marner would be that candidate. And last time Marner's contract was up, he put together a pretty good defensive year as well as an offensive year, signed a massive ticket. So maybe, just maybe, with Mitch Marner and the contract looming, there's a little extra in the tank for him as far as trying to maximize things. Like I said, William Nylander has definitely closed the gap. And to be honest with you, when I made my list, I had Marner and Nylander right under him. That's how close I think it is. But still, by the slightest of margins, I would have Mitch Marner ahead of Nylander.
All right, I want to shift gears on you now and focus on a couple of other stars on Canadian teams. Elias Pettersson comes in at number 27. He disappeared from February onward and carries the 5th highest cap in the sport at $11.6 million a year. Connor Hellebuyck comes in at number 22. Fantastic regular season, but a nightmare playoff. Which player has more to prove this season, Frankie?
Elias Pettersson has more to prove, Gino. Listen, when you're making that much money, not only do you have to be one of the best players in the league, certainly one of the best centermen in the league, but you can't be the second best centerman on your team. You can't be the second option as far as who your coach is going to go to, and that's what happened last year. JT Miller was the go-to guy for the Vancouver Canucks. Elias Pettersson wasn't. So there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that price tag in a salary cap world. He got his money. Now there's no excuses for Elias Pettersson. It can't be there's ailments, there's lingering issues, or you're just not feeling it. There's no excuses when you make north of $11.5 million. Elias Pettersson has a lot to prove given the money that he's been given.
Yeah, both these guys have a ton of pressure, but I think it's Connor Hellebuyck for a few different reasons. One, the position he plays. He is the Winnipeg Jets identity. He is the man in Winnipeg. Pettersson's a very good player. I think that's Quinn Hughes' team. I think a healthy Demko would be ahead of him. Like you said, JT Miller can take on more of the load. That doesn't apply in Winnipeg. It's all Hellebuyck all the time, and he knows it. I think from a legacy standpoint, too, he's got to put together a playoff run. And I know that may not factor into the top 50 projection. We're talking about the regular season, but that's where it gets started. You got to get into the playoffs, and I think it's on Hellebuyck to get his team into the playoffs so that he can grow on his legacy and try to become one of the all-time great goalies, because he's truly that talented. And there's also an international component to this. Four Nations Cup is coming. The Olympics right around the corner. Ottinger's a stud. He's American. Demko's a stud. He's American. There's a lot of really good American goalies in this league. Hellebuyck is the pace car right now. But if he falls off, he may be backing up once we get to international hockey. There's a lot on the line this year for Connor Hellebuyck.
I love how you guys are pointing out that someone's dangling the carrot right now. I like that. All right, only 2 days remain at TSN's Top 50 reveal. Next up, we'll dig into the top 20.